So guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to do a video about, I was sitting there thinking, this video is going to be called The Rumor Mill, because I want to talk about something that happened to me in high school. The bullying that I experienced. I was obviously bullied for wearing glasses in elementary school. I was obviously bullied for my weight in elementary school and high school. But I was also the outcast, the weirdo, and I believe that this rumor in particular is exactly why I was the outcast and the weirdo. I used to be accused of incest. If you don't know what that is when people in the same family participate in sex or anything sexual. And I used to be accused of that. If that kind of stuff triggers you or bothers you, I'm going to go into how I think the rumor started. I'm not going to give names, but you may want to click off this video and go watch one of my other videos. I don't know how it started, but I remember telling someone that I was like 8 years old, or 9, or 10, and I either told someone that we used to share a room, or that we did share a room when I was in elementary school. Elementary school. I was a little kid. The person that I told was a little kid at the time too. They were the same age as me. Pretty sure I was like 8 years old. And I thought nothing of it because I figured I wasn't the only person to share a room with their sibling. I figured that was probably common because I live in a small town and some of the houses are really tiny. I figured a lot of the houses probably had the same setup as my house, where there wasn't a lot of rooms, there wasn't a lot of space to go around. Me and my brother had our own beds, we had our own sections of the room, we had our own things in our own area, and that was that. We were like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. And there were times where he would be like afraid of the dark. And he would insist that we push our beds together, but nothing happened. We were kids. No. Nothing happened like that. And I swear to God up in heaven above, nothing happened like that. And I told this person that. They asked me. I don't know why they asked me, but I told them. In elementary school, when I was like a kid, I was in single digits in age. I don't know if I was 8 or 9, but I'm pretty sure I was 8. And from the time that I told them to the time I got to high school and was 12, 13 years old, this developed in someone's head as, oh, this is going to be hilarious. I'm going to tell everyone that she fucks her brother. I'm going to tell everyone that this is what she does. I'm going to make fun of her for this. And that's what it developed into. When my brother was like 11 or 12, my mom asked one of us to move into the attic. Our attic had been filled with junk and storage and stuff like that. And it needed cleaned out, but not only that, my mom knew to separate us at a certain age. Not because she was afraid of that, but because she just figured a boy and a girl should not, So, before either of us really went through puberty, we had our own rooms. And I want to clarify that my brother didn't lose his virginity until he was 21, which I only know because of a situation that occurred where all his friends were sitting there badgering him about it and talking to him about it and it's the only reason I know. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22 or 23. I think it was right after my 23rd birthday. It would have had to have been because it was in July. It was like July 8th, 2014. So yeah. And I just want to clear that up so that people understand. And I start high school. I I had no idea anyone thought this about me. I had no idea anybody even considered this to be... I had no idea until I was sitting there one day and I was either sitting or standing, and someone walked up to me and literally asked me, "Is it true that you fuck your brother?" And I was just like, "What? What the fuck?" And I thought, at that point in time, I'm pretty sure I thought that was just some asshole being a dickhead, and I was no stranger to getting picked on. I was an outcast. I was weird. I was not one of the popular kids. It's not hard to tell that looking at me now. Sorry, but I need a drink. My throat feels really dry and, back in here today. Hold on, I need to get a drink. But anyway, at the time I probably thought it was going to be an isolated thing. At the time I did not expect it to be something that was going to occur the length of my high school years. I probably would have had an okay time in high school, if that were the case. If it stopped there. If it was a one-time thing, if one person said it to me, I probably would not have had anxiety as bad as I did. I probably would have not been as negative. I probably would not have been as suicidal, as depressed, as fucked up as I am now mentally. I still struggle with those issues. And I'm not going to say I wouldn't have had depression. Because Lord knows that there were people in my life that were actively suffering and dying in front of me in those years. 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. Hold on. I'm in a different place in my house. I had to come up to my room to get privacy. Even though I still don't technically have privacy up here either, but at least I'm alone. You can probably hear a dog outside barking. And I'm on an air mattress, so it's kind of... Yeah, I'm half all of it right now. But as I was saying, at that point in my life, not only did I have people saying those things about me and literally asking me about it, but my grandfather had developed a brain tumor. And I think it was when I was 15, my uncle, maybe 14, 15. I was 13 when my grandmother passed away. My grandfather had been having seizures and things like that, and his health had been slowly declining since I was about 9, but it didn't really sink in and get really bad until I was 12 or 13 or 14 because he had a brain tumor in those years. And when I was 14 or 15, my uncle also developed, he had kidney failure. And I think we found out after he died that it was all related to lupus. So yeah, between the years of 13 and 17, I lost 3 people that were very close to me, that I cared about very much, and that I had grown up seeing on a daily basis. They literally all lived right up the street from me. So I would have had depression anyway, chances are. I would have had sadness in that part of my life anyway. But on top of that, I had to deal with people accusing me of committing incest. And I was friends with this person. I was friends with her. I'm not gonna say her name. If I accidentally let her name slip, it's only gonna be her first name. And we were friends since we were 12, 13 years old. And to my knowledge, it was not her that started the rumor initially. But she also said it about this other girl in our class who nobody liked because she was a drama queen anyways. So it's possible that she started saying it about me initially as well. Because she was the type of person that would act friendly with this girl that nobody liked. And then when me and her were alone, she would say, well, everybody knows that she did this with her brother and all this. and that she's not clean, and God knows what she said about me behind my back. But I was friends with her up until we were like 19, but when we were about 17, she dropped out of high school. We might have been closer to 18 years old, but between 17, 18, and 19, she wasn't hanging out with me as much, and, you know, she had started living with this guy, and, or at least staying with him sometimes, or, you know, they were in a relationship even though he was like 37. And, which I'm not judging, because I lost my virginity to someone who was 20 years older than me. And when we were both 19, and I thought the rumor had died down, until I was in class one day, and my teacher, my English teacher, and mind you, there were points in my high school career that people had shouted incest when I was walking down the hallways. So teachers heard it. Teachers knew. They may not have known who it was directed at, but people knew. Nobody asked me, I was a very angry, depressed, inward person. And I essentially just bottled it all up and didn't talk to anybody and didn't have any friends, and the only friend I did have, which I thought we were good friends because she went through shit like that too. Like, she didn't go through the exact same thing as me, but she got picked on, she got harassed, she was an outcast, she was not from, you know, the rich side of the tracks. But now sometimes I wonder if she wasn't the person that started it all. She is not the person that I told about me and my brother sharing rooms when I was like 8 years old. This was a different person. I'm not saying that person's name either. But we sort of lost touch, but we still hung out every now and then between the ages of 17, 18, and 19. And along that time, outside of school, she introduced me to her step or half family because she believed that this man was her father. There are people who have said that she does not look like him, she looks like his brother. She would still be related to them. She would just be their cousin instead of their half-sister. But anyway, their dad, she believed that their dad was her dad. But they had a different mother, so they were half-sisters. And she had two half-sisters, but there's only one that's involved in this. And the reason I say involved is because I started hanging out with both of them, but separately. And after all this has happened, I've, realized that they were obviously talking about me behind my back. And there were times where I would say, I don't understand Whitney, I don't understand her behavior. I just left her name slip. If you didn't catch it, I'm not going to say it again. I would say to one that I don't understand the other one's behavior, but it was the kind of situation where they brought it up most of the time. I would say, well, I don't understand why she's doing this, And I wasn't trying to trash talk anybody because they were my friend, but at the same time, if someone's doing something questionable and you have genuine criticism about it and you say it, you're just being honest. And she did do a lot of questionable shit. They both did. And what's weird is they probably aren't really half-sisters. They're probably cousins, but whether they're half-sisters or cousins, her younger half-sister was just like her. Like, she was 13, 14, 15 when I hung out with her. And I hung out with her up until she was like 16, I think. And I was like 19 or 20. And maybe 21. But either way, she was 13, 14, 15, and she was just like the friend of mine who was the same age as me was when she was 13, 14, 15. She was just as wild, she was just boy crazy, she was just as into, like, trying to be cool and do substances to impress other people, instead of just trying to find worth in herself. And I was about 19 years old, and I was sitting in class, and my English teacher, since I got off track from that, had suggested that we do a project on someone that inspired us. And I was like, I can't think of anybody. Like, I was just talking out loud, and she goes, why don't you talk about your brother? And I was like, I hate my brother. I either said I hate my brother or I fucking hate my brother. And this kid goes, that's not what I heard. And this kid that said this had actually come next door when his grandparents were living here and hung out with me and my brother. Mostly my brother. He was, kind of friendly with my brother. They hung out. They played sports kind of together. Like, threw the football back and forth and hung out. And yet, he doesn't know enough to not say false things about us. He knew that my brother and I fought 99.99% of the time. And I knew who it was, because I knew his voice. He was a little fucking dickhead back in the day. And I turned around and I said, do you want to fucking die? Or something like that. I said, do you want to fucking die, or do you have a fucking death wish, or are you fucking stupid or something? And my teacher told me to sit down and calm down. And I did, because I didn't have any problem with my teacher. I had a problem with him. But I don't disrespect people that are trying to diffuse a situation just because I'm mad at somebody. I've always had that sense in my head. So I sat back down, and I don't know how much time passed between then and when I found out that my, at that time, best friend had started a forward with the help of, now that I know this, the help of her half-sister. Because her half-sister was younger, but she was better at spelling. She was better at comprehension. She was smarter in some ways. And my best friend could not spell for shit. She couldn't spell short words, let alone long words. And I'm not trying to make fun of her, talk shit, or I would be saying her name. But one of my other friends, who lives in town, came to me and showed me on his phone he had gotten a forward. If you don't know what a cell phone forward, it was something that people made and sent it to everyone on their contact lists. And it just said, forward this, forward this, forward this, and then everybody would have gotten it. And there was a point in time, a couple weeks before this, a couple weeks or a month or a couple months, I had hung out with my now ex-best friend, but my then best friend. I should have just said my best friend at that time. But I hung out with her, and she took a picture of me. We were just being goofy, and I just thought, she's just being silly. And that was the picture that was in the forward. I was in my house. It was me. She was not in the picture, because she didn't take it with herself. Because if she had, I would have known immediately where the forward came from. I read it, and I was like, I want to say that this picture came from Whitney. I just left her name slip again. But I don't think she could spell these words, because it said, warning, don't talk to this girl, she's nasty and disgusting, and I don't remember it verbatim, so it said things like, she fucks her brother, she fucks her dad, she fucks her mother with a strap-on, she's pregnant to her brother. It either said that or that I was pregnant to my dad. And I was still a virgin at that point in time, mind you. And it was at this point that I got even more depressed. My whole high school was ruined by this rumor already because I was about to graduate and I hadn't talked to a lot of people, I hadn't hung out with a lot of people, I hadn't made a lot of friends because I thought that everyone believed this information about me. I thought that everyone had this in their head about me already. I thought that everyone believed it, that everyone heard about it. I thought that everyone thought I was disgusting and gross. And I thought I couldn't trust anybody. And when you feel that way about everyone around you, I even thought some teachers felt that way about me. And I did have teachers pick on me because I slept in class and stuff like that. But the teachers that made fun of me were just dickheads in general, and they made fun of everybody and didn't treat anybody right. But when you feel that way about everybody, you stay in yourself. I used to pretty much hide. I didn't like blowing my nose in class. I didn't like getting up and asking for a tissue. I didn't like coughing when I had a cold. I didn't like standing up to go get something in class. I didn't even like taking my tray up. I had such bad anxiety, and I may have had it anyway. I don't know. But I thought that if I did that, I would get myself noticed, and somebody would walk up to me and say that. Somebody would walk up to me and say something else, or just pick on me, or point at me and laugh, and say, "There's that girl that..." And I had anxiety so fucking bad, guys. When I walked into a class late, my whole back felt like cold, tingly, and it was just this constant discomfort when I was in school. And it was part anger, part depression, because I would have loved to... Also, anybody that was sort of my friend, I didn't completely trust. I always thought or knew that they were talking about me behind my back. Whether we hung out only in school or sometimes out of school, I knew that they were talking about me behind my back. I just knew it. And then it was either right before graduation or right after graduation. This was before I kind of figured everything out. I stopped hanging out with everybody for a little bit, her and her half-sister. But I was hanging out with her half-sister the one day, and they informed me that she's coming. Her and the guy that she was with at the time, who I think she ended up having a kid to. And at this point, I think it was a different guy, but it may have been the same one. They pull up in a truck. I walk up to the passenger side, and she's afraid to get out. She was physically afraid to get out. She wouldn't even look at me. She just kept looking straight out the front windshield. And I said, "Why did you do this? Why did you start that forward?" Because even if her half-sister helped her spell the words, and that was not the only thing she said about me. I don't know how many people she told these things to, but she also had told them that I was sucking dick for pocket change so that I could buy cigarettes and stuff like that. And that was the kind of thing she was saying about me behind my back to them. I don't know if it ever left, if those things ever left, but basically it sounded to me like she was trying to make everybody think I was disgusting and foul and just gross. My water's back there, but I'm gonna drink with one hand. Yeah, I think I can. Oh. Okay, where was I? She wouldn't even get out of the car. Or the truck, should I say. I said, "Why'd you do it?" And all she could do was look forward and say, "Are you gonna hit me?" And I said, "Why did you do it?" And she goes, "Are you gonna hit me?" I was like, "No." And then she finally got out of the car. I wanted to hit her. And if I would have started hitting her, I wouldn't have stopped. I was actually really fucking angry. And when I'm actually angry, I'm really serious and really stoic. And I've been told that I'm scary and intimidating. And usually when I act angry, I'm kidding. I'm not even half as angry as I was. I have stages of anger. And depending on what the anger is coming from, each one's different. But this was betrayal, confusion, and anger. So it was... And it was something that had dragged on. So I was pissed off about it for a while before I got to confront the person that was the reason for it. So that's why I think I was so serious with her. And I said, why? And I think I don't really remember what she said, but I think she tried to come up with some bullshit reason. Like, oh, I was mad at you because you know, blah, 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 this and that. I don't remember why. But, I'm not friends with her anymore. I don't talk to her anymore. She's, from what I hear, she's a drug addict now. I'm grateful to the person that told me about the forward. That's the real friend. And I barely talk to him, but that's not because he was a good friend in doing that. But there were times where he creeped me out because I thought he had a crush on me. And I still think he does, but I'm not sure. And I'm not making fun of him by saying that. I'm not being conceited by thinking that everyone has a crush on me because I'm not one of those people, but there were times where he had, like, things that you would think someone would do if they had a crush on you, type behavior towards me. And I was 19 and he was 15 or 16 at the time. But a lot of people that I would probably consider friends probably got that forward sent to them. And none of them told me, but he did. Because Whitney knew more people than I knew. Like, she hung out with more people than I did, but I knew people's names enough to say hi to them if I saw them and things like that. And out of all those people, because remember, I live in a small town, they all knew me. They all knew my name. They all knew I had a Facebook. They could have messaged me and said, hey, I have a forward. Somebody sent me this. Can I come show you? Nobody did. But he came to my house and showed it to me. And I'm not friends with her anymore. And she's a drug addict. And there's a 5-year-old. She has a 5-year-old that pretty much, from what I hear from other people, her mother takes care of it. And we are both 25, and she had a heart attack in August, and someone told me it was because she was on cocaine. And I don't know how true these things are, because of who I heard them from, and the person that I heard them from being somebody who used to do drugs as well. And I don't feel like I know that person enough to trust them. But the things that they told me, it does not surprise me if it's true. I'm trying to be quiet because I believe my mother has the volume down on the TV so she can hear me right now. But I just want to clear things up, whether the people that still believe those things about me see this video or not, or if they don't. I can tell you that your life, I don't want to say it gets better because it's very corny, but I will say that your life, whatever you're going through right now, it's not going to be this way forever. I'm not going to say it's going to end tomorrow. I'm not going to say the pain you're suffering is going to be over someday completely, because any pain that you go through for a long time is going to stick with you. That's how humans are. Most people, anyway. If you're one of those people that when you experience something like what I just described and you can let it go instantaneously, or you can just turn it off someday, I would love to be that way. And there's some things where I have done that, but this I still think about, and I wonder why people would start a rumor like that, why people would choose to believe it. And I want to add something else. If you are the person who started that rumor, or if you're one of the people that still says it about me today, realize that the period of my life you're talking about me doing that in, I was 8 to 10 or 11 years old. I was a child. And you want it to be true so that you can make fun of me for it, right? That's what kind of a sick fuck you are. You might be a pedophile. And you might want to get your brain examined. And that's to those people. Especially since there are people out there who are raped by their family members and become pregnant and suffer lifelong trauma, physically and mentally, from it. And someone makes a joke out of it to make fun of me, or even anybody else that's ever has said about them. That takes a sick fucking person. And I think after 12, 13 years old, you know better than to say shit like that. Even if you don't get the ramifications, you should just know that it's wrong. And I even heard about a few people that were friends of my brother's and friends of mine that have stayed at our house overnight saying it about us. When I was in high school, I heard that our neighbors up here, I heard about one of them saying it, and the person that said it, there was 3 brothers. The 4th brother is to a different woman than the first 3 brothers, but the father is the same. But there's 3 brothers who are all related, and the youngest one is the one that I heard about saying it on the bus to somebody else. And this kid has stayed at our house overnight. He's hung out with my brother for years, if not a decade of my brother's life at that point in time. His brother and my brother are really close. Actually, my brother's close to all of them. They play football with my brother. And it makes me sick, and it made me sick back then, to think about someone that stayed at your house, ate food at your house, watched movies with you, hung out with you, saying things about you like that. Is that a fucking wasp? I think it's a stink bug. You guys did hear that buzzing, right? If it's a stink bug, it probably won't fly around again. And if it's a wasp, it probably will. I just don't want to get stung. But yeah, for me to... And this... My friend had stayed at my house multiple times. And... I don't know why I told you guys this story. Maybe to let you guys know maybe why I am the way I am with some things. Why I speak the way I do about some things. But, either way, that was my bullying story. Or as this video is going to be called, the rumor mill. I wanted to do a little bit more of a talking video, and a serious video. I'm going to post this at the same time as I post a mukbang, so that there's 2 videos for people that want to watch a mukbang and people that want to watch this kind of video. I'm sorry this isn't all happy and, happy-go-lucky. I do want to talk about Trump at some point, but I don't know how I'm going to bring that up. I want to do more than one thing on my channel, and I hope that's okay with you guys. I do want to do mukbangs, because I like doing them. I don't know why, I can't explain it. But I like doing them. I'm about to run out of, space for this video. But I just want to say thank you for watching. I'm sorry this video was so long and lengthy. But I just wanted to explain the kind of stuff that probably made my attitude and my mannerisms the way that they are, and why I took so long to come out of my shell as a person. YouTube definitely helped with that, by the way. I recommend, if somebody has really bad anxiety, I recommend either making an online friend and Skyping with them a little bit. And you don't have to force a friendship either. You can literally go on a forum and find someone that has the same interests as you, and then just be like, you want to Skype? And if you Skype and it's awkward the first time, try it again. If it's not awkward the second time, you're okay. If it's awkward again, they're probably not going to be a good fit for you on this. But Skyping people and hanging out and talking to somebody helps you come out of yourself, because you're not out in public hanging out with them. But you can still watch a movie on Skype. You can still eat with them on Skype. You can still, sit and talk with them on Skype and things like that. It helps you open up little by little. And if you don't want to do the whole Skype thing, just get a camera and start making YouTube videos. Because that helps too. Even if you feel like no one's going to watch you. If you want to get views, I recommend using tags. Tag anything you spoke about at all in that video. Make the title a little bit interesting. Not clickbaity, but just interesting enough. And try and use a thumbnail or a good picture of yourself. That's the only tips I can offer you. But I have to go now to get ready for work, and even though I just had ramen, I'm hungry. My metabolism makes no sense. But I'm gonna go now. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope to post this tonight along with a mukbang. The mukbang I posted yesterday, only half of it uploaded, but I still deleted it off my iPod because I needed the space. I didn't feel like uploading it again, but this video is getting really, really long. It's going to be really long, and I'm sorry. So I hope you have a good day, and I hope this video was insightful or interesting, or made you feel like somebody out there, you weren't alone and, being picked on about something. So, have a good day, and I will see you guys in the future.